Welcome back to the channel. In this one, I'm going to be giving my predictions for the SEC tournament in one of the best conferences we have ever seen. So starting off, Arkansas already beat South Carolina, so I'm just going to pencil that one in right there. Texas versus Vanderbilt. This, I think, is a double bubble game because I think both of these teams are on the bubble. I feel like Texas has kind of underperformed this year with Trey Johnson. I feel like they should have been better. And Vanderbilt has been surprisingly good. They weren't great last year. They haven't been great in recent years, and now they got a chance to make the tournament, and I think they're actually going to get the win in this one. LSU has not had a great year. Mississippi State's been playing well. They'll be a tournament team. Give me the Bulldogs. Then Oklahoma and Georgia. Georgia has played their way up into the bracket. I think they're currently a projected 9 seed by Joe Lunardi. So you have to be happy about where you sit if you're Georgia. And then Oklahoma, I don't even think they're on the bubble anymore. I think they've kind of faltered down the stretch. I could be wrong. I haven't checked the bubble today, so that could have changed, but I like Georgia in this one. Then in the second round, this might be a little bit of an upset, but I'm going with the Hogs. Woo pig to get a win against Ole Miss. I just like the way Coach Cal has his team playing right now. I think they're playing their best ball, even without Boogie Fland. Maybe they're starting to learn how to play without Boogie Fland, I should say, which is a hard thing to do. He's going to be a lottery pick, but they're playing well, and I got them taking down the Rebels. Vanderbilt versus Texas A&M. The first team All-American, Wade Taylor IV, has had a lustrous career at Texas A&M. Will go down as probably one of the greatest Aggies in history. And Texas A&M's been playing well. Obviously, they beat Auburn just a couple weeks ago, which is a huge win. So it's hard not to be on board with Texas A&M, and I think they are going to get the win over Vanderbilt. Mississippi State versus Missouri. Missouri lost at home versus Kentucky in a game which, going into it, I'm sure a lot of their fans kind of expected to win and really wanted that one. So it's a tough loss. As you can see, Kentucky ended up finishing one spot ahead of them in this conference standings. And I think they might be a little sluggish out of the gate here, a little bit stunned. So I'm gonna go with Mississippi State in an upset pick here. Georgia, Kentucky. I think Kentucky will take care of business here. Now the quarterfinals is where things really get going. You've got Auburn taking on Arkansas. This tournament is huge for Auburn because I think if they lose in the quarters and then you get a team like Duke or maybe even Houston that goes and wins their conference tournament handily, you could potentially see Auburn slide down from the number one overall seed. I don't think it's going to happen. Even if that does play out, they still might not fall because they just have such an incredible resume. Their 15 quad one wins, or I think it's 15. That's just absolutely absurd. We've never seen something like that. So I think it's still probably safe for them even if they lose to Arkansas, but they definitely want this one just as a confidence boost heading into the tournament because they have lost, 2 of their last is it 2 of their last 3 or is it 2 in a row? One of those 2, including a rivalry game at home against Alabama, which is never a good one. But I think they'll handle Arkansas here with not much trouble. Then Texas A&M versus Tennessee. These two played a couple weeks ago. Tennessee pulled off the upset at Texas A&M. And I think Tennessee peaking at the right time. Zakai Ziegler's leadership is seriously understated. The first team All SEC player. He's been really just a glue guy for them for many years now. And when Tennessee starts shooting well, which is what they've been doing, they're really tough to beat. So I'm going with the Vols. Then Florida versus Mississippi State. Mississippi State will be coming off a win versus Missouri, kind of playing spoiler, maybe trying to win another one here against Florida. But I think Florida might be the most underrated team that's on or near the 1 line. I feel like nobody's talking about them. Everybody's always talking about, "Oh, Alabama should get the 1 seed," or "Tennessee should get the 1 seed." It just feels like nobody's talking about Florida. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's just because the media that I consume isn't talking about Florida enough, but I'm really high on this Florida team. I think they're gonna handle Mississippi State without much trouble, and they could seriously be a championship contender. Kentucky versus Alabama, this one's gonna be a great one. Kentucky finally starting to get healthy again. They've got Lamont Butler back in the lineup. They're playing well. Alabama, though, they're going to be coming off a serious high, winning at your arch rival on the last game of the season. I mean, come on. That's a huge win for them. So this is gonna be a really close game. But I think that Mark Sears, he's been in this position before. Well, not in this, maybe not in this tournament, but in the NCAA tournament, he's been to a Final Four. Lamont Butler's also been to a Final Four. He's hit a shot to send his team to the championship in the Final Four with San Diego State. Um, but I think that Alabama's going to be a little bit more solid down the stretch and get the win here. Then here's where I got a little bit of mix-up happening. We got Auburn versus Tennessee. I think Tennessee has what it takes to beat this Auburn team if they're having a good night shooting. If Tennessee's having a good shooting night, there aren't many teams that can beat them because Chaz Lanier, this guy can light up. He can go off for 30 just unannounced if he really is feeling himself. Um, and then, like I said, Ziegler's just been playing fantastic. It's going to be about the contributions from Tennessee. How much can everybody contribute? Because defensively, I think they'll be able to get enough stops to keep themselves in the game, despite the high-powered offense of Auburn. But I think it's going to be about how many shots can Tennessee make? Because if they aren't making shots, their offense looks kind of lost sometimes. And then, of course, it's hard to pick against Auburn. They've been the best team all season. They're, like I said, almost certainly going to be the number one overall seed in the NCAA tournament. But I don't know. I guess I'm trusting Tennessee right now, and I'm not really trusting Auburn as much in light of recent events. So I'm gonna go with Tennessee and the huge upset pick to reach the SEC tournament final. Florida versus Bama. This is gonna be another classic. Both of these games are gonna be great. Um, I think Florida beat Alabama, I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago. All of these teams play so much, it feels like. Um, and Florida won that matchup. Obviously, Alabama's avenged that loss by beating Auburn. But this is gonna be another great match. I like the offensive tenacity from Florida. I think their scoring is gonna be hard for Alabama to stop defensively. And I think it is gonna be Florida who makes just a couple more buckets to send them to the title game. Then we got the old-fashioned football matchup, Tennessee versus Florida. Um, this is gonna be a great one. Tennessee, like I said, if they're shooting well. I don't know if anybody can beat them. Um, but I think in this one, Florida might be the team that can outshoot Tennessee. And I think Florida has a much higher chance of doing so in this championship game. And I just really like the way Florida is looking right now. I think they're the best team, one of the best teams in the nation. And I really just like Florida to win this championship game. So I'm going to go with the Gators. And yeah, Florida Gators, SEC champions. That's my pick. So let me know in the comments if you guys agree or disagree. Please give me your opinion. I like to debate. Without further ado, that'll do it.